We are live. Good morning, and welcome to your Business in Digital. I am super excited to be here. I'm Tamara Moloui. It's going to be a great day. We are talking content creation today, so we always love that. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning.
Happy
Good
Monday.
morning.
The team is in full effect. So, all right, well, let's get this party started. Presentation slides. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Good morning and welcome to your Business in Digital. Yay! Right? I've been doing recordings like all week as we're running the 50 to 50 campaign. I've been talking to people, so I've been doing the chair session like the whole time. So every time someone comes to the stage, I chair for them. So they're like, well, what is happening here? Anyway, good morning and welcome to your Business in Digital. This is the show where we talk to you about how to really leverage digital to grow your business, to take things to the next level, right? We understand that you spend a lot of money, a lot of time doing digital activities, but we want to get you to that place of money in the bank. And that's why we bring together an amazing team of sales, finance, operations, and marketing, the true small business entity, to talk through digital and how it can be effective for your business. All we're talking about here are strategies that work. All right. So let me get some housekeeping out of the way and tell you how you can connect with us. You can connect with us live here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We are here on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, a lot of us are on the same time zone, so we love that. So if you can't catch a show live, that's all right. Check it out afterwards, right? But tell a business executive, tell a business owner about the show. We're everywhere podcasts are found as well. So we're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, all the places. So you can listen. If you like podcasts, listen that way. But what we want you to take away from this is with digital, you can grow your revenue to the point where you're going to your CFO to say, hey, digital increased my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. These are the things that we're talking about on this show. We get to the heart of the digital and the strategy. We go way beyond the likes. All right, so that's it. Yay! I'm freestyling entirely too much with that now. I'm just like, I'm like, that talk track is now like, I'm like, what am I gonna say? It's so you remember when it was rough? It was like, oh, who are we talking to? And it was all the things. And now it's like, man, there are things that just come so naturally. And I was just like, I freestyle a lot of that, Huh?
It's flowing.
You know it like
It's
you know your
flowing.
name.
Yeah,
I like to say
yeah.
when you can do it and wash dishes at the same time or do something, then you got that down. That's where you're
right. So it's like it's crazy, but it's like that's the marketing in motion, right? Because that's the messaging that we talk about, that we have to get down to a science so that people are like, yeah, and then you say it over and over and over and over, So anyway, I digress. I'm impressed with myself. Did I get a round of applause or no? Did I miss that? Anyway, thank you kindly. Thank you. All right, I'm having way too much fun this morning, and it is Monday. Guess who's super caffeinated? Back on that coffee crack.
Oh, that explains it. Right.
There it is. There it is.
All right, so you're right. I'm gonna take it down a notch. So okay, so let's run on along, because last week, what did we talk about last week? Hot topic. Our last hot topic was utilizing AI for small business success. I mean, This was a great conversation, and we said it right. We could have talked about it for hours because there's so much happening with AI right now. But we really want you to pay attention to how you're utilizing AI, how you're thinking about it with your marketing. Is it going to save you time? What's the thing that it's going to do for you? Is it going to save you time? Is it going to, replace a thing? You really have to understand that. And then you need to understand how you put it into the system, right? So we talked about it from a standpoint of, doing competitive analysis to understand what your competition is doing online. We talked about it in taking data points and putting it in as AI, so it presents you with maybe some actionable insights or some data trends that you can spot easily. Leveraging that information to then maybe build a presentation to present to your sales, operations, and finance teams to say, hey, this is where we should go, and here's what the data is saying. You can leverage AI to think about, how should I be optimizing my website? Really start the foundation pieces. You still need to work with someone to do SEO, but you can understand, hey, where am I? What do I need to optimize for? What is my competition doing? So it gives you that basic information that you can use to really build and start the foundation of planning for your online infrastructure, right? So AI is an enigma to a lot of people, but we really want to help you simplify. How do you utilize it in those day-to-day marketing operations? Also understanding with AI, you need to set some boundaries for your team, for your business. What percentage of AI are you going to utilize with your brand voice? So understanding those things are super important, but they're great ways to use it, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Gemini. Try them both. Don't get accustomed to any one. Push the envelope with the AI, but then come to a process and utilize that process over and over and over. And again, fine tune it. It'll learn, but make sure you're using it for some type of efficiency within the business and not getting caught up. But go check out that episode. And then we are starting our webinar series where we're talking about preparing your business for utilizing AI. That starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. We will definitely drop the link in the video later on, so you can check it out. It's a free webinar, and it's a great way to start thinking about your digital marketing and how to utilize AI for that. Guys, I know you guys, definitely have some stuff to add on the AI pieces, so I'm gonna kick it over to you. Go for it.
I love the recap that you gave, and from a sales and pricing perspective, the way I like to position, and I said it last week and say it habitually. So for those that are my clients that are listening, yes, this is a repeat for you. But the thing is that this has to become a part of your activities throughout the week. Get involved with AI, because AI is not going anywhere. It's actually going to be inserted in more and more places throughout your work world and with your clients. So it's a place that we have to be, and it is a companion to what you're doing. You're not losing your brand voice, but you're inserting and finding ways to utilize it in a comfortable space, as Tamara said, in a percentage that you're comfortable with, in your voice, utilizing your goals and aspirations for your business, and having it utilized in a way to help fine tune what you are doing. It doesn't replace a human. It doesn't replace your mind and your thoughts. It's to enhance what you're doing to move your business forward a bit more, and helping you to analyze business, find your brand voice in a different way that you're comfortable with. So I'm all in. I'm all in. I was hesitant for a moment, and you're right. Diversify. Microsoft Copilot is something that I'm working with right now, and understanding the differences between the two. So that and ChatGPT, which is the other one that I had been using a bit and touched a bit with Gemini. But you're right. You've got to diversify. You've got to figure it out, and don't let this whole world leave you behind, because that's what's going to happen if you don't find a way to insert AI into your functions throughout the week.
Yeah, and the takeaway for me is AI is a tool that brings efficiency. It just breeds efficiency into your business because it's helping to make things easier. Anything that makes your running your business easier tends to lend itself to efficiency. So yes, small business owners need to be able to be open-minded to it, because I think that's another thing. People, as Michelle said, people probably think, oh, it's going to take over, it's going to take over our brains and they're replacing us. It's not about that, but it's about how can you use this in your business to be more efficient and to be more effective. However, don't forget to use it with a strategy. We're not just saying implement AI right through and everything has to be AI, but select one thing that you think is manageable and find a way to insert AI into that and manage that before you start probably spreading it out throughout the business. But don't just feel that AI is a tool that once I start clicking and using it, everything is fixed. We're still back to the basics of technology, garbage in, garbage out. So if you're taking AI and you're not using it with a strategy and you're not using it properly, you're not going to get the results. So great conversation.
The absolute facts. And the last I would add to that, just building on that, is start developing your AI prompt templates. So, what's your prompt template for creating captions? What's your prompt template for creating emails or blogs, so that you're doing it over and over without thought? So that's your side of the game. So you know that you have a prompt that says, create a caption, this is the tone, this is who it's for, and this is what I want to talk about. So you start to work with AI based on that prompts that all of them work with a prompt, understand what those prompts are. And as Tamara said, and Michelle said, have your guidelines for where you're using it, and therefore build those prompt templates that you need.
AI, it's not going anywhere. Get on board, figure out a process, see how you're going to use it. It can save you time in your digital marketing. It can help really make you way more efficient and optimize things. You know what I'm saying? It does not replace your digital marketer. You know what I'm saying? But there are ways to find efficiencies and say, hey, how do we now start presenting these data points that connect back to the goals? So, get on board. All right, so we're moving on along, and our next segment is our hot topic. So what are we talking about this week?
So we are just going to continue this conversation from Wednesday. This is very hot topic on just in the tech world, right? And in the world, that the House has passed this bill that is not a TikTok ban, but is definitely going to force TikTok to sell. So slide number 1, please. So last week, Wednesday, we brought this hot topic to the table. The bill went to the House. It was passed overwhelmingly, 352 to 65. That forces TikTok to divest or be banned. So while all the media has just used banned, it's not an outright ban. Its process is it's a process to designate apps like TikTok a national security threat. We're not going to go into the whys of it, but that's the leaning, that it's a security threat because its parent company is a Chinese-owned company. So they are really just calling that the bill now will go to the Senate. That's going to take some time. It's not a fast process, and they'll probably still have legal challenges. President Biden has said if it does reach his desk, he will sign it. Now, TikTok was valued at more than $200 billion last year. So, of course, this raises questions as who would buy it? Are they creating bigger monopolies in social media and in the tech world by divesting TikTok? But they're hopeful that the Senate considers it, listens to it, because TikTok supports 7 million small businesses and 170 million users, according to TikTok. Now, some of the reactions, TikTok would have you can go back one, TikTok would have 165 days. So this is not happening tomorrow. It still has to go to the Senate, and then still, if passed, then the clock starts 165 days to divest. But that does not take those legal challenges into account. Now, while we tried to find some videos for you all to see TikTok reactions, they were just too broad and very varied. So what I would like to talk about is some of the reactions from business owners. So a 41-year-old personal finance and money coach said a ban could wipe out as much as 30% of her business overnight. But she said as well that while it would hurt her business, it would not destroy it. So again, it's that short-term impact. Another business owner, career platform founder, for her first 100,000 K, TikTok was absolutely fundamental to growth. And the last one, diversibility, a for-profit advocacy group, which said TikTok accounts for more than 50% of their revenue. So what it highlights here is that if it does happen, you could experience, absolutely, you could experience loss of revenue in the short term. So you should start repurposing your content now. You should start figuring out another platform now. And you should, above all, collect and own your own data. So a lot of these companies have said that it was fundamental for business growth, which highlights TikTok's need, its use, its purpose, its main purpose as a discovery platform and a traffic driver. But they've all said that, listen, it's going to hurt for a while, but won't be the end of the world because there are other platforms. So this is just a range of what's happening out there related to this TikTok ban. As you say, it's just been the news has just latched onto that soundbite, TikTok ban, but it's not a ban. It's just saying divest, or then you'll be banned. And of course, there's a long road to that. So start acting now, because it doesn't matter whether it does or does not happen. The lesson here is, what if this happened with Facebook or with Pinterest or with any other platform, with IG, that for whatever reason you are not able to use the platform anymore? What is the share that of your business that comes from that platform, and how do you mitigate against change?
You're so regimented with where we position ourselves. Just hilarious. But
Just a bit, just a bit. I sat back down, I was in the wrong place.
Yeah, great. Great topic. I think we definitely need to stay on top of what is happening with TikTok. And, is this making it more popular? Is this just more visibility? Is press just good price? Are people just going to jump on? I'm like, I know I need to, I should just do it this week and just go for it. But I think, yeah, it's important. It's gonna, we're going to see. I have a feeling, my opinion, strong opinion is, I have a feeling it's, kind of like a money grab. And it's going to be one of those things where, they figure it out. It becomes a company. It'll be, I'm like, let me know when to buy the stock.
Exactly. That would be crazy. But that's the interesting question, right? Who can afford to buy it? That's the question. So they're already kind of leaning.
I think it'll have to be, they'll have to take, because people are already starting to talk about it, right? They're starting to talk about, hey, I can raise the capital. So, I mean, this is something that, businesses are going to be like, oh, there's so many implications there. There's so many. Just imagine if Facebook threw some money at it.
It is. Again, I'll leave with what I led with last week. Follow the money. Follow the money. Because this is a money grab. This is a power control and money grab. And it's not simply us being upset or someone about privacy concerns and what are the children consuming, and oh my God, China's coming after us. There's a whole lot of other, it's so multi-layered. It's crazy. It is. I started laughing. I said, well, what is it today? I said, the emotions are running so high. Is that, where is Kate? And, the TikTok ban are competing for the airspace right about now. Where's Kate Middleton? And versus that, it's, the emotions are running high across the board. But this one won't go away for a minute. This is a hot topic that's going to be with us for a minute, to the point that there are a couple of Congress people who are being canceled on TikTok, who have utilized the platform to grow their audience, as many other politicians who voted for the ban. And now, the TikTok community is coming after them. There's a whole lot of things that are going on. And this is, some college professor has to teach a course on this and speak to the good and the bad and the ugly and where did we go wrong, or here are lessons that are learned. But I think what Michael touched back on for your business and digital is key, and something that we have said for many a show is own your audience. What's your omni-channel strategy? How do you ensure that you have multiple ways to keep in touch with your client base and grow that relationship, and have other sources of places for revenue to come into your business? So what is your sales strategy to the general public on and offline. And for small businesses, that's the message for us to take away from my perspective.
And where there's struggle, there's opportunity, right? So this opens that door for you to really lean in and ask your clients, listen, give me your email. I want to stay talking to you. A very big opportunity to lean in here and say, well, listen, this is the best reason to stay in touch. Please, can I have your email? So make use of that opportunity.
Yep, absolutely. It's that reminder that, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? And if your eggs is in that TikTok basket, you need to start, shifting them around and doing things to make sure that they're properly well distributed and shared out. So it's just a reminder. Yes, we have all the political stuff behind it, and it's a money grab, but at the heart of it, it's a reminder for business owners to really not place everything in any one thing. And that could be whether it's your social media platform, your how you created your business in the first place. If you have several product offerings, diversification is the name of the game. And this is just a reminder that when it comes to your social media, you shouldn't place everything on this one hope, because it's not something that you can control. As you can see, these people go and they making decisions that impact us. So what can you control? As Michael said, you can control when you send them an email. You can control when you send them if you take their phone number and you send them a text or a WhatsApp, you start a WhatsApp group. Get creative with the ways that you're speaking to them, because and at any minute any number could play, and where will you end up?
Such good conversation. You guys are so smart. Listen, can I tell you, I'm like, sometimes I'm watching the show and I'm just like, wow, this is like good stuff. They know so much. This is like, I'm watching, like, I'm a fan. Thank you for allowing me to participate with you guys.
You're welcome. You're most welcome.
All right, great hot topic. I mean, like, we just have to keep talking about it, right? We have to stay connected. I think I see, actually, I now see I'm going to give you some work because we're talking content creation today, but I definitely see a 3-part article. This first part, the second part, we got to take it. And this is, definitely something that, I think the opinions here are really strong and should be taken into consideration, because it's about the lessons for businesses, right? Most times when people are reading these articles, or business executives are reading these articles, they hear about the drama, about what are the recommendations. And I think that's what we're doing a little bit different here. So I think it lends to a really good article. So yeah, let's pull a blog article out of this. 3 parts. Well, the third part to come, but I think we have the first 2 parts, a little homework. We can use AI.
Then out more homework for you.
Nia's like, oh boy. Anyway, so all right, moving on to the next segment. Thank you. Great topic. Moving on to my other favorite segment, Go Beyond the Like. This is where we bring together all these strategies, right? This is where we get to the meat and potatoes of how do you actually get this stuff done that you're supposed to get done in the digital marketing place, right? There's so many things you hear. I should be doing this. I should be following this trend. In the Go Beyond the Like segment, we get you to that place of the true strategy to, getting to achieve your business goals. So today we're talking about a super popular topic. People talk about it and do it all the time. Content creation, but we want to take it in a different direction, and we want to talk about from keyword to content creation. And this is your checklist for that, right? So keywords are critical to your content creation strategy. And everyone here on this panel will attest to keywords and their strategy and the belief in it, because this is how we actually produce this show. We start with keyword. Keywords give you the information that it tells you what the audience is looking for, right? So that's the start there. So let me not jump into the checklist, but it's so important that you're not just creating content to create content. Don't dream that you're like, I gotta dream about this content. It has to start with being super strategic about the content that you're creating, right? You can create the nice to have or the nice to like content, but you got to be strategic about what you're trying to accomplish and how your content connects back to those business goals. All right, let's jump into the first point. It comes back to this target audience, right? It comes back to who are you trying to reach? We're trying to reach business executives and small business owners. And what are their challenges and pain points? Well, their challenges and pain points are that the ROI, they don't see the ROI on digital, their teams aren't trained enough, there's certain silos between sales, finance, pricing, and operations and marketing. So that's how you're kind of starting off, right? Really getting into the heart of the target audience. The target audience drives your content strategy, right? If you don't know what they are searching for, what they are thinking, then you're creating stuff just to create stuff, and that's not what we want. So it starts with really understanding and doing a deep dive into what your target audience is looking for. So I'm going to pass point one over to the team to pick it apart because, we always have to start with that, right? The target audience.
No surprise here, friends and family. We talk about this every show, going back multiple seasons on this. Is you have to start at home base. And who's your target audience? What's their demographics? What are their interests? And as Tamara said, their pain points. It's especially important because you want to make sure that you're speaking to your community of people. Everybody isn't your target audience. Everybody is not going to be attracted to what you're seeking. So it's important for us to understand exactly how they are seeking information. For instance, here's an example of a key term phrase that is being used out there. Specifically, let's talk TikTok. Skincare for over 50 women. That's real specific. How about let's get a bit more specific with hyperpigmentation, or for Black women, or for teenagers with acne issues. There's a specific target audience with a specific pain point that we've identified. Acne, they are women over 50, dry skin. I'm sorry, Michael, I'm leaving you out of this board because your skin is beautiful and you're certainly, of the male species here. But you get where I'm going with this, like we're speaking directly to a specific audience, a particular demographic. I said teenager. Think about those things when we're speaking. We're trying to be intentional, definitive, and narrow the audience and move out noise and be real specific in the lane that we're trying to drive into.
And I listened how you described it, Michelle, and you're right. Even though you excluded Michael, that's the whole point of it, excluding who it's not relevant to as well, so that they don't come and jam up your page, unnecessarily. They will know that, oh, that's not for me. But the person who's looking for it, they're there, So the understanding of that target audience is so critical, even not just for you as a business owner going out, but even think about when the person is consuming the content, they'll know if they even want to consume the content because it's either speaking to them or it's not. Now, maybe Michael may somehow come back to you if maybe he's trying to get a product for someone who fits that category. So then he's also aware, oh, yes, well, this person, they usually speak to this group of people. So if it's not for me, but my friend, or my mother or my sister or whoever, hey, I saw this page, and you redirect. So target the definition of that audience is it works both ways.
And the definition always changes. So it's not a fixed point. Who are you trying to reach? So again, going back to Michelle's example and what Andrea said, excluding me. But while excluding me, I'm seeing maybe skincare. And then I pose a question to that company to say, do you also do this? So that's now giving that business an idea that, oh, maybe we have a market that we neglected as well. So there's a lot of sides to this, knowing your target audience and their challenges and pain points, but it's something that you want to keep revisiting every so often to make sure you're still on target.
100%. Still on target. It's my microphone. I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, too much fun. All right, next point. So let's talk about questions, right? So based on your audience's questions, what keywords can you use to build out that content? So the keywords are important, but what we also notice when we do searches is the questions and how people search in question format. So those pain points sometimes come in questions, and you can do a search on Google and you put into keywords, and just like Michelle talked about, right? You know, that specific group, right? Women over 50, teenagers. The questions they're asking the questions: what's the best? What's the top 10 recommendations? What's the this? What's the this? And those are the questions that your target audience is asking. So this is where we talk about your content also becoming the answer, and you becoming the answer engine, right? So they're feeding you information through their keyword search, through the questions that they're asking. So you can now take this information and say, okay, great, how do I start responding to this? Because that's that, as Michelle talks about all the time, that call and response, and the information is right there for you. So understanding your keyword is important, but understanding how they're taking their challenges and framing those into the questions is also important.
Agreed. I think in this respect, this is the place that I think the time for us to, here I go again. I have, young nieces, so forgive me as I go down this road and I say this is not the time to play hard to get. This is the time for you to be direct and tell your audience and then show them, what you're all about, and be direct. There's no time to waste time. Focus on your focus and be direct and answer that question. You want to respond directly. Our attention spans are nanoseconds at this point. Deliver the information succinctly and answer. And you're basically saying, I got you. You asked for the top 10 ways to resolve that dry skin in perimenopause and menopause. I got you. But also in the same respect of what Michael and Andrea were saying, if you have a product that answers the call to a different demographic and speak to it, men who also have dry skin, there's a way to say it to attract them and drive them directly to the place that you want them to go to, but you're speaking to them directly. So don't play hard to get. Be direct and tell them what you want and tell them that you have what they need. Don't beat around the bush and make it happen.
So be easy.
Yeah, be be easy for sure. So that I think this is like the cornerstone of your content creation for sure. As you said, what we're trying to address here is that content creation in a vacuum, or content creation based on views of other content where you're just looking at the number of views that it got, and you're like, I want to do something like that for my business. But really and truly, what you're doing is, the way to do that is to answer the questions that are being asked. There's no better way than to say this is the foundation right here.
And answer the people. Answer the people. They have questions. Be the answer to the people so that they'll know that you have the answers. I love that, Michelle. Just, and don't beat around the bush. Don't use 10 sentences when 3 would do. Because, right? You're wasting effort on your end, and people, because of the short attention span here, by the time they get to that third sentence, they're gone because you haven't set up your point yet for them to know, oh, I should continue reading. So I love that, Michelle. Be direct, don't beat around the bush. Let them know that you have the answer that they're looking for.
Yeah. And some tools, one quick tool that you can use to this is answerthepublic.com. So, something we've been using for a while. It gives basic information, and you put your keyword in there, and what it'll tell you is all the questions people are asking around that. So you could start, it's a great way to start getting that overarching content that you should be creating. And you may need tools to go a little bit deeper, but it puts you on the path to the right content creation strategy. So check out Answer the Public, and yeah, put your keywords in there and see what you get. All right, so on to the next point. Point number 3, how do you break down those content pillars into subcategories for more organized and focused approach? So that's a great point. So you want to think about the main keyword, and you want to break down, maybe you have 2 or 3 keywords, right? So for instance, right now we're ranking, well, last week, I haven't checked this week, so I don't want to, say it and
That
then
could
someone
change.
Last week we were ranking 21 for digital marketing solutions. We were ranking number 9. We went back up to 9 for custom digital marketing solutions. So those are the keywords that we're ranking for. So in that keyword strategy there, we're going to start talking about digital marketing solutions. So what are digital marketing solutions, right? Digital marketing strategies are digital marketing solutions. Content creation is a digital marketing solution. CRM is a digital marketing solution. So you kind of see how within all that keyword, we're starting to break down the topics that we're also presenting to you because it's a part of a digital marketing solution. We understand who's searching for digital marketing solutions, right? So business executives are searching for it because they kind of want to understand. They're searching for, what are the strategies? What are those solutions? What are the things that can help me achieve my business? Sometimes, so we want to show up in those spaces. We want to show up in those spaces to, are they searching at the beginning of their research project, or are they making a decision, right? So we want to show up if they're just starting to research, because we want to become the answer the entire time. We want to provide them with digital marketing solutions. They come into our world, they understand, great, here's how I take this to achieve my business goal, something that resonates with them. Here's how I work with sales, pricing, and marketing, something that resonates with them. So they're slowly going down our funnel, and it all started with that keyword, but it was everything that was relevant to what they need to do. How do I work with pricing, sales, finance, marketing? And those are the conversations we're having here. So we're feeding them back that content that moves them from that stage of research all the way down to the funnel of conversion, right? And that conversion could be, maybe they're listening to the show, we get their email address, maybe we move them into a lead, into a conversation, and then we're signing off on them as a client. So that's kind of the process from pillars, and how you take that keyword and break it down into pillars. So anything to add there, guys? Any thoughts?
I think the content pillar it's such a core part of the process, as I said, to break that down. That's going to establish, the routine of the content creation. So you really want to understand, yes, I'm not doing this today and then something completely different next week, and so on and so forth. So by breaking those pillars down into those succinct categories, as I said, you're always going to be answering what's being asked out there. And you're going to have a very clear path to what content you're creating on a regular basis.
I think of it as, I probably should have worn a different shirt today, the one that I have that says, let me overthink this. I've said that several times. How do I, when we get a bit more granular in what we're trying to say with the content, and attaching it to pillars, what you're helping yourself do is to move noise out of the way. It helps you to be succinct in what you're saying, and it helps you to understand the what next. Here's what I'm providing. I'm providing pricing strategies. That's one of the content components that we're looking at for Lagniappe, for as we revise what we're doing on the website. And as I was talking through this with T, we were speaking through, well, what about pricing strategies? where are we going with this, and how do we want to speak to the community? But more importantly, what are they asking for? And how do we respond to that ask to relieve that pain in 3 specific ways? How do I price this? Am I priced equal to the competition? How do I convert a sale from that price point? There are 3 different routes that we're trying to take to answer the questions that the community of people that I'm working with are asking. So the call and response in 3 specific ways based upon the pillars that we have under the pricing strategy umbrella. So that you have to be real concise, constrain what you're doing, and then you're just minimizing and bringing this down in an uncomplicated, frictionless way.
This is where we start to see digital marketing doing what it does best, which is better than traditional marketing, because you couldn't get this type of call and response analysis with traditional marketing. And this generation of the content pillar is something that I don't think was there before. I could be corrected, but I don't think traditional marketing previously used to do this type of analysis. And if you're a CFO of a business, this is something that you would want to be part of the conversation, not because maybe you're contributing to what the pillar should be, but at least to satisfy that a strategy is being followed with these content pillars, and that we're not just moving from one set of content to another week by week, because then that will then say to you as a CFO, well, how is the marketing budget being spent? Are we, one week we're talking skincare, next week we're talking something else, are we making sense? So pay attention that even if you are a CFO, this conversation is still for you, because it says a lot about the strategy that the marketing team has followed. And if you, as a non-marketing person, can look at the content pillars, and if you don't understand it, then it means your audience doesn't understand it either. So you still have a seat at the table. I just want to put that plug there that yes, we're talking about the content pillars and whatnot, but even if you're not in the marketing team, you could still be part of the conversation to know what these pillars are and how they are breaking it down, to see if there's a strategy or some sort of logic that is being followed to address your consumer. That's my CFO plug.
I was going for the slow build up clap. I'm like, what's going on back there? Do you need some coffee, Nia? All right. Stop messing with Nia before stuff goes crazy. All right. All right, next point. This is one of my favorite points. How can I distribute my content effectively? So how many times are people creating content and then they're like, I'm just going to create more, no one sees it. They think, so I love when I talk to clients and they think, I'm so tired of that content. I feel like I've seen it so much. And my question to them is always, are you your target audience? Yeah. Because if you're not your target audience, you don't understand at what point they saw that content. Did they see the first 30 seconds? Did they see 10 minutes into it? Did they see the end? Did they just not see it at all? Don't assume because you posted it, someone saw it. That is presumptuous of you. It's just not how we function in our spaces of our mobile devices and our desktop devices. We're in our own world thinking about it. So content distribution becomes really, really important. You want to get longevity out of your content, right? So we have content that we're using from 2 years ago to bring back into the fold, because people may not have seen that content and it's still relevant content. So how are you getting that on all the right platforms and channels? How are you giving it more reach? Recently, what we started doing was, I got to shout out the East Orlando Chamber of Commerce. One of the ways we're promoting and pushing our contents a little bit more is by using their tool called Chamber Master, where we're able to put up information, deals, hot deals, events, all that stuff. And then that information pushes out to their social media profiles, which are all business owners or business executives or small businesses, our target audience, right? So we're now using that as another distribution channel to get our content out there, right? We're writing our blogs, we're sharing our blogs on LinkedIn. Well, we've started to. I think we've done one so far. We need to do a little bit more. But we're now saying, okay, when we have a piece of content, how are we moving it forward? We're focused on driving more likes. No, we're focused on driving more followers to YouTube. So one of the things we're going to do is make sure that as we begin reposting and talking about stuff in our posts, we're going to link back to that YouTube video. So we drive people back to those YouTube channels. And that could be for season 1, 2, 3, or 4. If it's relevant, we're going to do it. If I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm sending them an email, I'm going to then take a snippet of content from the podcast, send it to them to be like, hey, here's what we're talking about, and here's how we break it down. So now it's a bit of an introduction, and we're distributing the content as a part of our day-to-day, as a part of the conversation through email marketing. We're making sure that this content gets maximum visibility. And that comes back to your goals. If you have a video, where do you want to get it to? So this week I made the proclamation to the team. We want to get all the videos on YouTube to at least 500 views. We're slowly building views, right? Now, can we do more? 100%. But we're looking at a specific target audience. We're not looking at, just complete explosive growth yet. 500 may seem a little to you, but then that gives us more understanding of if we're producing the right content or not, and then we can set our goal for 1,000. So, we have over 168 videos there. So maximizing that could really be good. And we understand that as people come in, they can follow the journey with us. So that's when I talk content distribution, that's what we're talking about. So team, I'm kicking that over to you because I know y'all got something there.
I have a strong opinion about this one too. It is one of the primary things that I tell my clients is when you are identifying that target audience, you need to go into the space where they are as well. Not an empty room or a place where there's a lot of people, but not your people. You have to go and understand that just because TikTok is the rave place and the popular place, but is that the place that your people are going? And that's really important. Are you speaking to a community of people who are not interested in what you're saying? Or are they in LinkedIn? That's a smaller audience or a broader audience that actually is seeking the information and the solutions that you're providing. And that is key. They will want your information. They will lean into your information, and you will find that your audience will be engaging and grow and interactive, which is really important and at the heart of why we're looking for these key terms for us to lean into. Or are you in some space because it's just a popular space to be in and you're having problems gaining engagement? You're having problems getting people to follow you. You're having problems getting people to watch your content for an extended period because they are simply not your people. So it is key for you to be in the space where your audience resides and visits often.
If I could just give one simple example, so just to bring it home for people, think about when you're applying for a job, you're on the job hunt. You don't send your resume to one company or even one type of company. So I'm an accountant. I could get a job in almost any sector, right? I wouldn't just send it only to maybe specific types of companies. You try to send it across the board. So it's the same thing with your content, and you want it to be in the hands of all these different people. Same thing with your resume. You try to get your resume into the hands of so many different people. And think about even in one company, you might send it through the normal application process. And then if you found out that you have a friend in there, you might ask a friend, well, do you think you could get it in there for me too? And you give it to that person. And then you give it to all of this is the same effect. trying to get the information in the hands of the right people. But in order for it to get into the hands of the right people, it may have to pass through different hands, different channels. So think about the content distribution in the same way, that to get to the right people, it probably has to be in all these different places before it gets to the right person that needs to buy your product.
That's what I'm saying. Testify.
I don't think there's anything I want to add on to that one. So we can move right into the next point. I think that was brought it home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well said. Well said. All right. So the next point is, how will you tailor your content? What are you going to do for each platform? What makes sense to reach optimal engagement, right? We tailor our content through video. We also tailor our content through blog posts. We're also tailoring our content now through creating checklists. We're also going to tailor that content to email marketing. So we're looking at ways we're going to tailor it to shorter form content. I'm working on TikTok, so we're going to tailor the content in different ways to feed it, right? But the long form content is the content that we create first, and then we kind of build from there. So you need to determine, like, how are you going to create this content? Are you going to start writing? Some people are better writers, it's easy for them to start that way. You know your keyword and you want to write a blog post. You just have to determine what works best for you and what's easiest for you. What we have here is a well-oiled machine. So it's very, we've been doing it for a while now, and it's like we can have a half an hour to an hour long meeting once a week. We kind of know where we're going, we know the direction, and it's a solid plan, and it's in rotation. So this is content creation, and we've connected this back to our individual businesses to understand how this content is also relevant to that. So it's not just a fit the show. It serves all the gods. So quick thoughts on that, guys.
I'll jump in on this one, because this is operations squarely. So you're looking at what's that foundational content. As we said, for us it's this show, and then how does that content now get broken up for other platforms? So this is where creating those templates for each platform that you want to use in conjunction with the content that you're producing. That, well, when we produce this show, what's going to happen is we're going to have a checklist that's going to be created. We know that this show is going to be broken up into 3 parts. It's going to be Beyond the Likes, it's going to be Hot Topics, it's going to be the recap, it's going to be checklist. So you want to understand what's that creation process from that foundation content. What's your foundation content? Is it a blog? Is it a podcast? And then what are the templates that work for the platforms that you're aiming at, so that you can easily chop that content and distribute it and use it, as Tamara said, repurpose.
I just want to get us to the last 2 points, and then I'll send it back for everyone. Final thoughts. Another important point is the KPIs, the analytics, right? Based on the data and analytics, is its content strategy working? So you got to start looking at that. Are people clicking? Are they reading? What's the time on site? Where are you hosting the content? What's happening? There should be data points to support the content. Are you getting email addresses? Are you not? Are they moving? What are they doing? So you can understand if this is relevant or if you need to pivot the content strategy. And the next thing you want to do is you want to get to a place where you're repurposing and reusing content. Okay, there is no reason to reinvent the wheel, especially if you have specific keywords. You're having variations of a really targeted conversation. So repurpose and reuse, reformat, cut a different clip, say something different about it, add text to it. Really allow yourself to leverage the content in a way that makes sense. Don't fall into the formulas that you hear. We're looking at our content in a very different way now, and we're saying, hey, how do we really, really expand on this and repurpose it? One of the things we talk about is being content rich. It is the first step to being a billionaire, being content rich. And so being content rich allows us to take this and now kind of stretch it and move with it, repurpose. If we're not available, we have content that we can use so the business really doesn't stop running because of this content. So, all right, final thoughts. I'm going to kick it over to Michelle. Mike, you wanted to say something?
That on that last point, I'll make this my final thought. That repurpose and reuse, as he said, not everybody has seen your content, and the feeling might be there that, oh, but I've talked about this before. But the industry that you're targeting or the people that you're targeting, yes, pain points remain the same year to year. So every year we're going to talk assessment. We're going to talk digital and marketing assessment. That does not change. But the way in which we talk about it may change, or the questions that people are asking may change. So that repurpose and reuse is so ultra important. Do not feel you have to create something quote unquote new every time.
Agreed there, Michael. I think to wrap up from a sales and market, excuse me, a sales and pricing perspective for the show, my takeaway for our community is we've said a lot here, but in the core of it, we have some strong, consistent pillars that we talk about every show. Start at your home base. Who is your target audience? And the demographics for them. And what are they asking that they need your assistance with? And show that you have the answer to that question, that you have the answer, the response to their call that they're asking for. Ensure that the audience that you're speaking with, that you're in the environments that they're in, and that you're speaking directly to them, that you're not just in a random place because it's the crowded room. You want to be in the room of the people who are needing you have. Remember that the point of entry is not linear. They come into the room from different doors, and how they're consuming and accepting and receiving the information that you're saying is received in different ways. So the same content, you are not recreating the wheel, you're just delivering it in a different fashion. It might be a top 10 bullet point. It may be a short form video, or they may later then come in and say, I need to see the rest of it. And therefore that long-term, that long form video that you reside in YouTube somewhere, or a vlog or a blog, will be utilized, stretching the point on and pulling the thread on those same bullet points. So it's just repurposing information that you already have in a succinct fashion that meets the need in the places that your people are patronizing on a regular basis.
So I think about content creation, and I think business owners should think about it this way. Content creation is like, when you have maybe a multinational and you hire people who could speak different languages. So maybe you're in the Latin American market, so you'd say, I need somebody who speaks Spanish, I need somebody who speaks Portuguese, etc. And because you have all these different markets, content creation can be that salesperson for you in all these different markets, because you'll be with the right process and the right strategy. You'll be able to take your content through all the things that we spoke about on this show and be able to talk to your different subsets of your audience, right? But all still within, you're selling the same product, but you're speaking the different language to everyone, right? Touching on the last point that we just spoke about, that repurposing and of content allows you to take the same message, but tweak it based on your keyword to speak to the person over 50. And then you could tweak it to speak to the teenager. And then you tweak it, and that's all you're doing, right? So it becomes this salesperson for every different market. So think about it from that perspective. You may hire somebody because they speak a particular language, and you send them into that market, and then somebody else, you send them somewhere else because they're specialized in that. And why? Because they're literally speaking the language of the person that you're trying to reach. So think about content creation like that linguistic part of your business, the language of your business, so that people understand what you are saying, and you're tweaking it to speak every single person language. So you become your own interpreter with, sending all these different messages, but still with one core message, If you get, I hope that makes sense. But you're tweaking
Yeah.
it so that everybody, yeah, it's one core message, but it's being delivered in so many different ways that you're touching so many different people. So think about it from that perspective. And then when you think about it from that perspective, you will then realize that you don't, there's people say, well, oh, just post for posting's sake. No, it will then become a very targeted and deliberate and intentional way, right? You may realize you may go silent for a while because why? Because you're trying to build this core message. You don't want to just put things out there for putting its sake. That's not content creation. That's just posting. And as Michelle said, it could actually create more noise than help than be helpful. That's my final
100%.
point.
I love All right. So, final thoughts here is that content is the fuel that drives that engine that is your sales funnel, right? And it's important that you are giving the person the information that they need. You need to attract them with the content, draw them in, and then move them down your process. And it is 100% about them, their pain points. They must see themselves in the content. They must want this content. They must be searching for this content. Usually we have so many questions, but what happens with this process is that you become the answer, right? So you get the questions, you're not asking the questions, the person's asking the questions, you understand that, and you get to become the answer. So that's how we get to that place of creating the right content and getting from keyword to content creation. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this show. We will be back here on Wednesday, but before we do that, let me make sure and tell you how you can connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We are live there on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. You can't catch us live, that's all right. Catch the show afterwards. Do it in your downtime. If you prefer podcasts, we're everywhere podcasts are found. We are on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, all the places. Tell a business executive about this show. Tell a small business owner about this show. We really help you connect those dots back to money in the bank using digital and digital marketing. We know it can be daunting. We know that you spend a lot of time and effort in digital. So we want to really help you connect those dots. Break down the silos within your business as well, right? We bring together the best minds in sales, pricing, finance, operations, and marketing here to help you take your business to the next level and go beyond those likes and follows to money in the bank. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here on Wednesday, and have an amazing, amazing Monday. Have a great day, guys. Take it easy.